I mean, if I was on time, it wouldn't have fit the title episode, right? I'm just saying. Winston reaction. But this ain't that show. So day later, but definitely not a dollar short. But it's always gonna be. Thanks up, baby.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started. Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it? Yes, he does! And that might be the knockout punch.
All right, greetings and salutations. Hopefully, all is well with you and yours. Look, I don't know if you felt like I felt, but at the end of the day, I can't wait feeling like Noob's kind of ran the yard. I mean, they always kind of run the yard, but kind of opening up. Y'all saw Chip hit the stroll, you know, with the other good Noobs out there. Good times, man. So I was excited about it. I don't know how you felt about it. So I enjoyed it. Look, I was in the press box and Noob hit me up. He go, Keith. I was like, oh yeah, yo. Like I had to get the yo ready, get it ready real quick. Like so I was like, but I was excited, man. What's up, little baby? What's up, Tabra T? And look, man, hopefully I got to see some of y'all there. Not enough though. It was a strong 16,000. So I enjoyed that. But homecoming, boy, it's about to be a movie. So y'all let me know what the spot is after the game. I ain't gonna lie, brother. I'm take Monday off, so might be rolling kind of late into the night here, but we might even take the show off on Sunday night. But what we definitely gonna do is we're gonna enjoy this and have a little fun because honestly, it kind of was that. Like, if you watch the game, oh boy, it's a tough watch. It was definitely not the game for those who just don't like football. Like, if you're one of those people that like, I kind of came for the atmosphere, I came for the vibe, that was better for you. But if you're one of those people that just come for the game, wasn't yours. This one wasn't it for it to be that. So, but it was pretty cool. And I'll be honest, man. Look, I got to meet AD Suggs. She knew who I was, which I was like, oh my goodness. But it was good to hear. Like, it was the things that you hope for. That's kind of why you do this. Like, you're not trying to get recognized, but it's cool you do. So, but had to get this ready. And look, I had the AI create this on Canva. So, let me get it ready. Sorry. There we go. Y'all can tell, brother, was kind of so never be on time to the party. So if I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I am that guy that's normally on time to the party. And shout out to the Canva AI because they did this. Like, I was not expecting this good. I ain't gonna lie. If I knew how to angle up that snake perfectly, I'd have found that old Rattler logo. But that's all Canva. So, but it was a good game. Outcome wise. But if you watched it, especially post game, and yeah, I did the post game. So yeah, she definitely heard the suggestions. um but yeah, man, it was one of those things where I was just like kind of I remember talking to Allison Posey from WCTV on the sideline, and we were just like, what is up with this offense? Because my words and my notes from the first half, and I got them up on screen number 2 here. If you don't know, your boys got 3 screens. What's up, Marvin? What's up, little baby? What's up, Aaron? Um, and look, yeah, I saw that. What? I told y'all, I like my AD. I'm a fan. We got some contacts. We're gonna definitely work on getting her on the show. Her, Coach Patterson, Mr. President from Orlando alumni. Look, we got some things to work on, but it's voting season, so I got to vote first. So I ain't gonna lie, brother was late because I was trying to cook. So I was trying. I can burn. So some steaks, did a little potatoes, threw them in the oven. But right now, I'm excited about this program. And I asked the question to Coach Colsey. If you didn't see the post-game interview, your man's definitely did post it onto the social media page. I'm probably going to record the next one too for homecoming. But it was one of those things where the only question I really had was about the offense. No other part of the team was I frustrated with. And little baby, you beat me to the punch. Special teams, I was happy with that. Like, we did not kick to the Southern kick returner really all game. And that was a question I kind of wanted to get in there, but I didn't get a chance to. Probably won't get a chance to tomorrow just because of my schedule. But otherwise, I would definitely ask, like, about the special teams. Like, was that purposeful to kick away from Southern's kick returner? I think it was. Additionally, though, with Gassett got that open early and just broke out, needed. And you could see where you switched him out for Lockhart, and he finally got in there. And look, Bobby said it. I said it. You said it. Jeremiah Pruitt finally gets on the field. Why? What was happening? Like, Pruitt gets on the field, good things happen. That was just for me. And I'm not saying he's the only person. I'm just saying he's an additional weapon. Like that's really the takeaway from it. Other part, man, early on, man, the run game, I don't know what that was. Like, and I did see where, you could ask the question of why Thad Franklin gets pulled, but if you stand in that end zone, I don't have any questions for you. Like, you can't fumble there. And it wasn't even like a clean looking fumble. It was like he got hit where the ball was. We were about to potentially get our first rushing touchdown of the season, and then you don't get one at all. That's something that you can't happen. And you can understand why the coaching staff kind of is like, you can't do that. And you can see with this coaching staff, ball security is a huge thing. If you're fumbling, you're getting pulled. Like, that's just kind of part of the course. Like, they ain't playing no games with that. So yeah, but and Aaron says not seeing him in the field against JSU really made me ruin while they're playing the game with the offense. I'm just saying. And even still, man, and look, these Cowboys I'm treating these Cowboys like I'm treating Florida State at this point. There's no hope. But I think Bo might be running back number one. Like, because he's got a little more juice than Kelvin Dean, even though Kelvin Dean got that touchdown. And at first, I thought it was a rushing touchdown, and I was in the end zone. I ain't gonna lie, I was on the field. Thank you, Josh. I greatly appreciate it because I was able to get some stuff for the boosters, alumni, and of course myself. So, but I took care of them first. Like, I try to take care of anything associated with Mother FAMU first, then I'll kind of do me. So if you notice, the Fangs Up stuff was the last thing posted. First thing posted was NAA. And so they had a tailgate, nice tailgate. Definitely have some suggestions for how we can make it better. Need to have a little stroll off a little bit. Of course, Nuke's going to win. But it was really nice, man, to kind of see the throwing to the running backs coming back into the offense. That was something I thought we missed. I did have the question at halftime about the quarterbacks, like, why are you shuffling quarterbacks? But I didn't see it happen again. So that was okay with me. And even still, when Junior threw the ball, the pass he did throw was decent. Like, just saying. And Marvin, see, I'm with you. Dean's there because the running backs, and I've read off my notes from halftime, post game. I didn't even get time to really get the notes. The guys from Southern, I will say this. I don't know if Southern's coaches watch this at all, but I do want to say about your players, they were classy, man. Like, I know that seemed like I was about to say something mean, but post game, man, those kids were having to shower at the Lawson Center, and we do post game at the Lawson Center. So obviously we're passing by each other. Those student athletes were so respectable. And I mean, like, it wasn't even like good game, man, F you, da da da. It was like, hey man, excuse me, da da da. Hey man, safe travels. Thank you, sir. I will give this, I'm Southern. That means a lot to me as a man. When y'all went out there, y'all played hard. You lost. You don't know me from Adam. I'm clearly probably pro FAMU, but I'm wishing you safe travels and you're respectful. Look, man, I hope somebody shares with the Southern coaches, all of the players I interacted with, and we're not really supposed to, but of course, in passing, I'm gonna say excuse me. I'm gonna, I'm Southern. Like some things, respect is due a dog, and the most respect is due another man. And so you give another man the respect that is due. And those student athletes were so respectful. Just me as a general person, lay person, walking by, and they could see I was media, but I just want to make sure I make that known. Sometimes it's easy for us to be like, and that kid was, cussing and doing this. Nah, they were very respectful. So I want to make sure I put that on wax, and put that out there. Those Southern student athletes, and they were riding the bus back to Baton Rouge. Super respectful. But like I said, going back to the quarterback thing, I kind of had the question of why, but then post game, and this is the first time I've done post game where Daniel Richardson there. Nice kid. Came up, he offered the head, but I do fist bumps. So just because you never know, injuries, whatever. But yeah, man, it was, I had the question, but you could tell that's probably not a thing. And I heard whispers of it. Somebody had told me before, hey, Junior might be getting in. I heard the rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. And I'm like, really? Okay. Yeah, Junior's my guy. Like, Daniel Richardson to me is the better quarterback. Like, let's not make that argument of, oh man, that's your boy. You lobbying for your boy over. No. Daniel Richardson's a better quarterback. Junior's my guy though. Like, I'm biased. I admit my bias. So unlike some of y'all, it's my unbiased opinion. He better. No. Daniel Richardson's a better quarterback. I like Junior as a person. So, been interacting with the guy for about 3 years. So every time, and to have met Junior first time in person, from then on, always. Daniel Richardson first time in person, real cool kid. But then the receivers, man, we saw the receivers kind of get spread out there, but the tight ends, thank you. I needed that. Like, I needed that just as a fan, because for the longest time, we throwing to whoever. And the question is why? Like, why are you throwing to this guy? Why are you throwing to that guy? And honestly, I couldn't tell you why. Like, I really was wondering why the tight ends weren't getting to the game. Felt like it got better. But that defense, man, like, honestly, this Dark Cloud defense was back for a minute. And some of that's just Southern. They don't bring a good quarterback to Tallahassee. But the other part, man, we look solid against the run. Like, you could tell Southern saw film, and they watched film, and they looked at that and was like, damn, you can't stop the run. We're going to run the ball at them. And we actually looked decent stopping the run. Like, the tackling, I didn't get to ask Cozy about it, but tackling looked decent. Like, we gave up 122 rushing yards. I'll take that. You gave up how many passing yards? 83? Bruh. So they got, what's that, 205? Something like that? Yeah, 205. I was a history major, but I know some math. That's all right. That's a good day at the yard. And you consider that defense held it down. Like, they kept us in the game. Like, if Southern has a better offense, this game gets very questionable. Like, how many yards did FAMU have this game? Great question. 126. Some of that came late though. Like the first half, was trash. Like, and appreciate Mr. Figures, but that was horrible, man. Like, and their quarterback, no, no, Kylan, not at all. Honestly, that second quarterback, he was a better quarterback. And I remember talking to the gentleman from Southern. They brought a team. They didn't bring the band, but they brought a good amount of people with them. And I was like, dude, a couple years ago, the quarterback is why Southern lost to FAMU. And he even said the same thing I said. If they had a better quarterback 2 years ago when they came to Bragg, they might have won that game. This year, the backup, go back and watch that film late in the game. That left-handed dude, he was throwing dots, like just dimes, and he throws the ball with arm angles. Like he throws a little sidearm anyways, but go watch that game late. Southern got some garbage passing yards in there, but kid was throwing some dingers. A part of the problem was the coverage was kind of off. Like y'all know I'm not being a complete bias. I'm not gonna be a homer. I keep it a bean. They threw a BJ Kendall. Sorry, Lord, I didn't flip bowlers. Look, this is dirty. It's dirty lemonade. Respeto is tequila and lemonade, pink lemonade. The Sam's pink lemonade, the strawberry lemonade. You'll bless your friends. It works. Mix that with the Respato tequila, whatever they got from Kirkland. Yeah, somebody bless the household with that. I got to re up on what we got but getting ready for homecoming, I got to get my pregame right. I can't be over here acting like I'm a rookie. I used to party with the pink Africans, so I know how to pace myself. But it was better, man. Like you could definitely see some good things on the field there. EA, I see you up there. You think Cozy, Henry Hurd, keep raising hell, the Rattlers. I don't think they just heard. I think they saw EA. Like the offense is, and even at the beginning of the game, the offense is inept. Like my first note from the first half of that game, the offense doesn't do diddly until halftime. And honestly, I wasn't in the stadium when they scored. Like I was like, oh crap. I love a cell phone cord. Thank you, Auntie. Auntie blessed me with a parking spot. Thank you, Auntie. So I walked to the car, came back. In the midst of that, I hear touchdown. Stadium's going crazy. I'm like, okay. I don't think they just heard it. I think they saw it. Like you couldn't not see that this offense is missing something. And especially, you can only go to so many of those 220 meetings. And I'm sorry. Cozy takes some things seriously. Like, you say what you will. Cozy don't like going to 220 club meetings after an L. And especially when it's stuff that you and I see. And then he looks at the film, he sees it too. And it's like, yeah, man, them folks right. Like, I think that's part of it right there, man. Like, and what's up, Mary 305? I see you over there. Aaron said, I couldn't watch this game since I was at the UM FSU. Man, you know what? I didn't watch the UM FSU game yet, but I said they lose, so I'm not really hurt about it. But honestly, and at the end, I got one question in. I think the offense, you kind of found something. You finally break 21 points. Like, I think Cozy definitely heard that because I think he wanted the touchdown. He didn't just want the 3, but it was like, we got to get more than these darn 21 points. But the offense just wasn't able to find its niche at the beginning of the game. You weren't really able to figure it out passing wise. And I still question that. Like, I don't think we're doing the right thing by Daniel Richardson as a quarterback. And I think just having him drop back, and as Willie Simmons coined it, pat the baby, is not the right way to go with this offensive line. Shout out to Newman. My Newton know what's up. All Benny Georgia, man. But he was like, you can only do what the offensive line lets you do. He's right. Hey, deference. That brother's right. The offensive line isn't going to give him quite that amount of time. But the other part and other issue I have with a lot of our deeper plays, they're slow developing. And I was kind of listening and walking, and I overheard the broadcast from Vaughn Wilson and the other person he was with. Once I saw Vaughn was doing it, I was like, Vaughn, you doing it? Oh, okay. Hey, can you put a brother on? But I heard somebody say slow development. I was like, so I'm not the only one that sees this. Like, our plays develop too slowly. Like, you can see where if there's a check down person, it does a few things for the offense. One, it gives somebody for Daniel Richardson to throw the ball too short. So it also makes the defense kind of adjust what they're doing. But it also keeps Daniel Richardson from getting hit so often. Like, he's gotten hit quite a bit. And, he's, trying to find a way to say this without having to say no Diddy after. But he's a stocky gentleman. There we go. He's not, he's not svelte, but he's, got a little bit of build to him. And so, like, he takes a lot of hits in that pocket as our quarterback. And you're able to see, like, you're trying to hit Ace Cobb. You're trying to hit Gassett deep. Like, okay, we get that. Don't forget about number 21, Quan Lee. If he's healthy, make sure he's there. Don't forget about Jeremiah Pruitt. Don't forget about all your tight ends, Gross, on down the line. Maybe if we have some plays where you're dinking and dunking a little bit more, you can bring that secondary up so that you can, when you hit those play actions, you can kind of go over the top. And so that was kind of my first half takeaway, but also, turnovers. Like, I think we finally won the turnover battle here. Let me double check. Ain't nothing better than stats. So, yeah, let me pull up box score right fast. Team. Sorry, I'm on the FAMU website. So double checking. Let's see. Turnovers. I don't see it in my quick looking real quick. So I see interception both sides. Should say fumble on both sides. I don't see the fumble on the FAMU side. So I believe we lose the turnover battle again. But I just really think the offense, that fumble early hurt. You kind of got to get that in there. And look, Kylan, you hit this right here. Gap integrity is big. Like, and look, Steve, 128 rushing. We were 138 last year. I'm just saying. And EA says, you don't do that, especially with your starting quarterbacks getting rhythm. Yeah, I don't think you rotate quarterbacks, man. Like, I'll take the W. That's right. And look, teams really don't score on us like that. They don't. Like, Aaron, I love that you pointed this out because I agree. I think some of the consternation about what our defensive coordinator is and ain't doing is somewhat overblown. It's not completely wrong. But when you start looking at this defense has been solid for the last couple of games. Like the last game, you can't go at that kind of rush yards. I ain't gonna lie to you. But the offense got to give you more than 21 points. Like, thinking about at that place where Daniel Richardson fumbles last week. And, I don't want to revisit that because I haven't gone there. I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't watched it yet. I seen the highlights, looked at the stats, watched the stats the entire time. But if you're scoring and you're staying on schedule, if you have 35 points at that place when Richardson fumbles, it doesn't matter. Are you dropping back and passing it? Like, some of this, I'm with a lot of you. I'm looking at the offense because where are the points coming from? Like, and Lil Baby says, first half was a battle of the D lines. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. FAMU's D line showed something though. They showed me this week what I thought I might get last week. I thought that there was gonna be a little more backbone, a little more spine. So, and Samuel said it's time to start clicking. I think last night is about to click. Offensively, I think so. I could be wrong. That could be my orange and green colored glasses. And especially, you're hitting a good point where you're playing against teams where you have a definite advantage. Now, you need to score. Against Texas Southern, you need to score. If you score points, this is a blowout. But if you're around there playing around, this is going to be one of those games where you might be listening to some of the people saying, "Hey, what's up with coach? Like, he gonna make 3 years or not?" Like, just being honest, you can't lose homecoming. Like, FAMU is not one of those places where you lose homecoming. Head coaches have been fired the night of homecoming. Like, you can't lose homecoming. Like, I can't. As much as we all looking for the party, I'm taking off work on Monday after. Look, probably won't be a Fangs stuff on that Sunday night. It might be Monday, but I'm just saying, like, you're definitely in a space where offensively you better start clicking. It's got to work. Like, and look, they left their office hall, and look, ooh, he is Mr. Campbell. Look, I'm telling you, look, EA says if you know football, watch the game. Our defense still had holes, and the passing game was both. Yeah, we left some plays up there, man. It's like we're working those pre-rep math skills. Hey, bro. And you are right, Kylan. It's yeah, man. Mr. Campbell says every year since we've been in SWAC, Southern has a big game where they spend all their energy. Then they have to play FAMU. Last 3 years is JSU before. This year is homecoming versus Alcorn. You're not wrong. And then he says Cozy looks like one of the physics teachers I had at FAMU. Dr. Cozy got a PhD now. Oh, and I'll be glad when our offense scoring is like a spigot. We can turn it on. We can turn it off, or it will. I think this offense is the question, though. Like, if you're watching FAMU's football team, I don't have many concerns about special teams. Maybe who's my deep ball kicker? I got 2 kick returners. I'm fine with that. My question is the offense, though. Offensive line. I'm looking at you. Like, I get you lost a couple of major guys. Something's got to happen. And some of that may be from the offensive coordinator who used to be the offensive line coach to say, you got to do more than challenge people. Like, I mean, we're very famous for you got to get in somebody's face, you got to make them mad and everything else. And all that sounds well and good. But in actuality, you got to scheme this thing up. Like, some of my questions with our offense is, are we scheming this up? Like, because as Chad's pointed out, offense doesn't have good flow. It's too much. Is it too much? It could be. But I feel like some of it's just scheme. Like, schematically, I question some of what we've done to create those rushing lanes. And is some of it just the personnel? But I just have a hard time accepting that right now. Like, a lot of it, to me, I feel like with some of the players you have, you can scheme this up. Like, you can scheme better run plays in. And if you're watching the Cowboys game, they about to fight. So Cowboys, 49ers, they throwing hands. They just threw a ref. And yeah, they fighting. Is that Marquise Bell fighting? I hope not. But yeah, that was Marquise Bell. He threw a punch. So you watch the Cowboy game. Yeah, they were fighting. But I'm just saying, like hurry up, go to plays, something. Like, at a certain point, we got to change it up because what we're doing is only working for now. Because what you really don't want to get into is a situation where you get another quarterback that can kind of hit, but that's tearing you up because you're just not doing your job. As Mary says, I need FAMU to run the ball. I do too. Like, he looks like Raymond Felton during the second half of Zibby Acre. Dang. I didn't think about that, but I'm such a visual person. I can see that. And look, I'm with you, Mr. Campbell. I think we should be running something a little more like the West Coast offense, because I don't know if it's West Coast or spread, because we kind of run like an offshoot of the spread offense. But with the West Coast, are we teaching that? I don't know. It's like, I disagree. This is still Willie's O-line. that couldn't run the ball, so short passes, jet sweeps, tires the defense, rush allows. Yep. The other thing now we're talking about running the ball. What I did see and what I did like, remember last week I was like, man, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but throw into the running backs. That's an extension of the run game. When you can't run through the gaps, send the running backs out and throw to them. Like I told y'all, at first I was like, wait, was that a throw or a run to Kelvin Dean? I I didn't have a great angle to see which one it was and how far the guy was, yada yada yada. But that's something that's there. Again, getting the ball out of Daniel Richardson's hands quicker. Like with the defense, I don't have as many problems with, but I definitely got questions about the scheme. Like some things just don't feel right. Like that Jerry curl, it just ain't curling right. Like you need to use a little more activator or something because this ain't working. And look, baby, that 21 points is dreadful because it's like the cap. Like the offense can't get over that. And Coach Campbell, Mr. Campbell, our defense scoring average is great. Our rushing average is poor, but those rushing yards do not translate into scores. We're basically giving up less than 21 points a game. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. And I'm in agreement with Mr. Campbell. The offense is the question, which going into the season wasn't supposed to be. You were running Willie's offense. You were using a lot of Willie's old players. You have, I would argue, a better receiving core. I would argue your backfield is on par with last year's. Well, close. I think Jennings was a difference maker. When you look retrospectively, he was a better back. But him, Yant, Dean, yeah. But and look, here we go. The defense is ahead of our offense. It is. Like that's not what I'm looking for. Like, will we see more of him? You gotta take that shiesty off. But I don't know. We'll see. And look, to lose homecoming, that breaks the homecoming streak. Oof, yeah, no, we ain't gonna bring that up, man. Change for next season. Bring in a full-time offensive line coach. I wouldn't disagree. Either that or my question becomes, do you want Henry to go back to being an O-line coach? Because I've heard the rumblings. Some of y'all saying Burris might come and be the OC. Like, I don't know. I don't have no speculation, no nothing on that. Like, that's just what somebody said to me. So don't take that as what Keith said. No, that's what I heard. And I'm hearing some of y'all ask some questions. Like, but the offense has to score more points. Like, the offensive standard should be 28 points per game. That needs to be the standard, especially in today's offense with the skill positions you have. I mean, you're talking about in this game, without Jamari Gassett's touchdown early, you're losing in the first half. Like, that touchdown was that important. Without that touchdown, you're not beating a mid Southern team. Like, Southern's a quarterback away from being solid. But with the quarterback they played, mid, like very mid. And you struggled with them when it was like your offense versus their defense, good on good. Now, defense versus offense, you slowed the run down. But there were passing holes in there. Like, I still have some questions, especially late in game. I got some questions about some of that defensive scheme we saw because you literally see where the corners are just giving up yards. And yeah, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But like, and look, you were definitely missing that President Cardell. And Mr. Campbell says, look, oh, well, they're definitely either run block maulers or pass blockers. These guys are not maulers. They're better at pass blockers, quick routes. We don't get a lot of holding penalties. We don't. I will give that. And that's why I state we got to throw the ball faster. I think our play calls take too long. That's just me. Like, and do you think Willie was just more aggressive? I think that's part of it. Like, I think that's definitely a huge part of it. That Willie was much more aggressive. Like, this offense is more conservative. Like, on its face. Like, you kind of watch the offense and see what's going on. It's more conservative. Like, you don't have the double passes, for better or worse. You don't have those splash plays and those plays where Willie would just try to get a spark and just say, "Hey, I want to see if they showed this. I figured we could get that. I was just trying to get a spark." I've not seen Joe Henry try to get a spark yet, and that's not like a harsh criticism of him as an offensive coordinator. Again, my biggest criticism is the lack of ability to really establish a run game. And somebody pointed out that goes back to the Simmons era. Like, we did struggle then. And some of that's just personnel type for me. Like, you're not going to be able to support this kind of running back and have slow backs running this kind of offense. Like, you need speedier, faster backs. Like, that's just me. Like, and so to answer your question, JT, yes. And Kylan, yeah. And look, here you go, nail on the head. Willie was more of a risk taker. Shotgun. What did I say? The first thing out of Cozy, you aren't going to get as much risk taking. He's definitely going to be more risk averse because he's the defensive guy. But even still, you can see where, what was it, last week for the Jackson State game? Cozy was like, nah, that pass was on me. Like, so I'm wondering, kind of looking back at this and walking this back and listening to what the coaches have said, who is the more conservative guy? Is it Coach Henry, excuse me, or is it Coach Colsey? Like, because you can hear what Colsey, I think philosophy-wise, he's a little more willing to be hands off. What I'm getting from him, he's showing that he's more in that Saban mode than Simmons was. Willie Simmons was not a Nick Saban type guy. He is more of I'm the head coach, I'm the offensive coordinator, and we're doing this, we're doing that. Doesn't have his fingers everywhere. Fingerprints aren't everywhere. But on the offense, fingerprints are everywhere. Defensively, I kind of back off a little bit. Whereas what I'm getting from Colsey is a little more CEO style, where it's like, I got final call, but I'll let the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators voice their opinions, kind of run it how they want to. But then if I disagree, I get the final override and say, no, this is how we're going to do it. That's just me. I could be wrong, but and Lil Baby say that's my biggest OL coach has not been so good on the line. Okay, that's fair. And Mr. Williams, Johnny Williams says, I hate to admit it, seems like the OC can't scheme to the team we are playing. I agree with whoever said the West Coast office. That's Mr. Campbell said that. Question is, why hurry up offense is not hurry up offense? I mean, you can run tempo. I feel like you could run tempo. I don't know if you want to do it all the time because you're getting limited penalties. I will say that, but I'm questioning our scheme right now. So offensively, when I'm seeing 21 points per game, pretty much, and I think if you average it out, it might be 21, 22 versus what I saw last year. And the questions with that come in because you look at the players. It's not just because I'm looking at the results. I know I'm not results only. Results only is Mr. Sam Phillips. Results only fitness. If you're up there in the Georgia area, Atlanta area, go check out my man. Results only fitness. But for me, it's the micro stuff, how you get to the results. And that's what Phillips focused on. He gets you right. And so in looking at the smaller details of how you get to the results, I feel like your quarterback this year, I feel like Daniel Richardson's better than Musa. Okay, I said it. All right. How you feel about it is how you feel about it. I know I was a Musa guy last year, but I feel like Daniel Richardson's slightly better quarterback than Musa. A little shorter. But I think as far as a passer, pure quarterback, I think Daniel Richardson's you got him. I think the running back room is more versatile. I think last year's running back room was better, but I think the running back room is more versatile. I think the receivers are better. I don't even think it's a question. Like, especially when you just start looking at size, health, availability. Yeah. Like, K-Dot with fire. Don't get me wrong. But I don't know if you had quite this many guys that home run hitters like you have this year. Like, tight end room, that's not a conversation. This year is much better. O-line was better last year. D-line was better last year. Linebackers, yada, yada, all that. But when I'm looking at the offense specifically, every position except for one, there's a big difference. But I don't see that on the field. And that's why I say OG Newt, Benny, he said it. It's that offensive line. Offensive line, you're not really establishing a run, but the plays take too long. Like, I'm just saying, like Lane Kiffin. And look, Marvin, you said it right here. I have a huge problem with the offense shooting itself in the foot. The turnovers. And honestly, like I said, that fumble by Franklin was huge. And it was loud. Like, it wasn't so much that the hit was loud, but when he got hit and you saw the ball just fly out, and it's almost like he just threw that bit. Like, here you go. And it's like, oh, come on. We're about to score a touchdown. You kind of got in a rhythm. Something's got to do. And it just didn't. Like this Cowboy offense, they actually got our first down. Like, you got to give me something more than that, because when it seems like, and from what I'm getting from Coach Henry's as an offensive coordinator, he's kind of got to get into a rhythm, and he tries to find his rhythm. And once he finds his rhythm, that's when he kind of starts like, all right, this is what I'm doing offensively. And whereas some of that, I don't know if we need to look for a rhythm as much as got to find what works. Like, yeah, that pass interference is obvious. Like, and look, Willie's more Riley than Kiffin. Ooh, that's a tough one. I would argue. I don't know. I think Willie was more like a Lane Kiffin, if you ask me. But I don't know. He got the Lincoln Riley thing about quarterbacks. I'm gonna go Kiffin. Because Lincoln Riley, he had them project quarterbacks. Willie had project quarterbacks. Willie had them guys that was like, I'm gonna make you a good quarterback. He did it a couple times. Like, I can't even lie. Like, he should be the quarterback coach of Duke right now. Like, and look, Coach Shaw say, put in Grable back at tackle and slide. Ooh, might not be a bad move. Hell, I tried a white dude from Washington State. I'm just saying, because at times it's not just the tackles getting killed, like, it's on the interior too. Like, it's like, I still don't think Cozy has the healthy fear of his team. The personal fouls, dancing, success celebrations. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna give you that one. The Kelvin Dean one, trash. That penalty was garbage. And I'm not saying it because I'm in my feelings. I'm saying it because it happened in front of me. Like, Kelvin Dean was on the sideline, literally on the, like, I don't know if you kind of look at Bragg and look at the field. There's like a part of the sideline that's like dotted lines. He's way over there, takes his helmet off in front of the fans on our sideline, and the flag is thrown. And I'm like, you just threw that flag because he was complaining on the previous play. I don't know, again, I can't get fined. I don't work for the SWAC. But that's where I felt about it. I felt like it was kind of one of those like, hey, man, we see the pass interference. Okay, we don't get every call right, but you can't keep coming at us. And now you took this helmet off, that's an actual foul, and I'm throwing a flag. Like, okay. I felt some type of way about that. I don't love the dancing. And that's been mentioned before. I think some of that's trying to let the players have a little bit of fun. But I think some of that leads to immaturity. Like, and it leads to immaturity of the players know they're good, they know they can make plays, but the problem comes in when things aren't going well, they're dancing sometimes. Or when things are going good, too good, the whole sideline's dancing. If you up 20 points, you're dancing, whatever. But we up 7-3, and you dancing. Like, you don't want to ruin the players' energy. You want them to get in their vibe. But it's just saying, you got to kind of make it work. Like, and look, the offense is playing UMAF football, have to go out there away. Hey, in some cases, it's the players. You're not wrong. Willie had 3 different QBs, win 9 games, which is incredible. Hey, and one of those guys never played quarterback before. Let's be honest. Willie's best quarterback never really played quarterback. Like, Ryan Stanley was solid. Can never win a classic. Moose was okay, but he just had them darn turnovers. Rashawn McKay, to me, was the best Willie Simmons quarterback out of those those big 3. Like, Junior's supposed to kind of be the new guy. Like, I know he struggles with this thing, but if I can get him right, this boy gonna be a baller. And and look, question of the evening: what's really going on with Michael Smith and Trey Wilhoit? They're injured. Yeah. I don't know what the injury is, but Coach Coley shared that on his show that they're injured. So, yeah, I don't know the injury, but I do know they're injured. So, yeah, no, I don't break news. I just share it. So that was definitely a thing there, and none of us asked about that. And I remember he said when he asked about it, he's like, that was all he could disclose. So, but yeah, man, this offense to me is never on time to the party. Like, and honestly, my son had Capital League thing tonight, so I just didn't change shirts. We changed to a nice family shirt, but Luke's always late anyway. So normally the show's on time, but if the office has not been on time to the party any time this season. Like, even in the Jackson State game, going in, I was like, hey, we're gonna get down early and gonna have to make a comeback. Like, this offense is never on time. Like, I hate the second half thing, because instead of saying that we're a second half team, I think the better thing to say is we make adjustments at halftime. And then after halftime, once we make our adjustments, then we start actually figuring out stuff, because whatever we're watching in film ain't enough and ain't happening. And wow, he was wide open. But yeah, like, that was Devo. So with this FAMU team, you need an offense that's there early, but you need a scheme that's going to work early. Like, we can't just lean on the defense and rely on the fact that there's not another good quarterback that we play this season to bail us out, because eventually it's not going to be good enough. Like, against Jackson State, it wasn't good enough. Like, that's not going to work. Like, you got Texas Southern, you got PV, you got Valley, you got Cookman. I see a bunch of sorry quarterbacks, and you might finish the game against a team who's got a new coach, because Alabama just lost the Magic City Classic. And I mean, I just don't want to know. Like, y'all know I can lie to you, or I can tell you the truth. I'm going to choose to tell you the truth because I respect you enough to do so. I don't know what happens with Carnell Maynard. I'm not an Alabama A&M fan, but I will tell you, I'm a Carnell Maynard fan. I like him. I like that he is real honest, and he's him. So you could finish the season and play a bunch of nobodies, and it really not matter, because Jackson State finished the season. I mean, they got, because we need them to lose twice. Cookman, you tried to help a brother out. Appreciate that. They got UAPB, who doesn't have a defense, but that offense. Whoo, they got Valley. That's a cakewalk. They got Alabama State, which might actually be an actual problem. Like, Alabama State is actually kind of interesting. Like, and look, I'm with Miss Campbell. That game's going to be dangerous. Nobody will be at that game but the team in the band and the local Tallahassees. I look, 'cause I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm not going. Like, I was planning to, and I was like, oh crap. I told the wife, I'm like, we'll be with your family for Thanksgiving. That extra hour to Tallahassee, man, I made a difference. All right, but hey, 3 hours and a half, I can do that. A 5 hour ride to Tallahassee, and then I got to come back. Oh man, nah, buddy. I'm gonna let Josh know. I ain't gonna make that. Like, I'll be watching it with you. We might even do a post thing. But yeah, Miss Campbell, JSU got 2 road games, ASU and Alcorn back to back. That's gonna be interesting because, and I love what Mr. Campbell pointed out. Mr. Campbell, look, I think I have your number. Look, we got to link up. I really feel like somebody said it to me too. They said on the sideline. Jackson State plays down to their competition, just like FAMU does. Like, that's not a complete team. It was Kelvin, cousin Kelvin. We were talking about it pregame. He's like, "Who you got?" And he was like, "Hey, I told y'all that Cookman game was gonna be tight." And with Jackson State, for me, I think Alabama A&M and Cookman are concerns for me as a FAMU, just because Cookman's not good, but they just kind of have an ability to figure it out. Like, and one of the problems we have offensively is we don't start well. Cookman's the opposite. They actually kind of start out okay. They just don't finish worth a cuss. Like, and we all know with a team that gets behind, that is emotional. I was trying to find a nice way to say it, but all that celebration and dancing, that's emotions. That's an emotional football team. And emotions are dangerous because when you're down, then all of a sudden the sideline's dead. And you got people yelling and screaming and trying to get people up. And people are in their feelings already and they take it the wrong way. Whereas with a team that's more stoic, where it's less celebrations, less of whatever happens in the game, we just focus on the mission. When you get a little more of that, when trouble comes, you withstand that, you respond a little bit better. In this team, they're very confident. They are. Go back and listen to Jamari Gassett and in the post-game interview. It's on the Fangs Up page if you want to see it from yesterday. But you're going to notice we don't lose and brag, the confidence and all those things. But you also see during the game, brother's full out dancing, like dancing. Like, he getting it, juking. And it's like, but we weren't up that much. Like, the music's good. It's a good vibe. But keep the main thing. Like, not trying to discourage the kid from being a kid because it's a college kid. If I could still dance like that, I would. But it's to kind of keep those emotions focused on what's going on. Because when you're making big plays, you scoring 2-3 touchdowns like you just did, the attention's coming. You're going to get the chance to dance. But we just got to keep that excitement, a little more held within. There we go. And look, Hollow says if ASU does lose a game in the next 3 weeks, it's a 3-way tie, or it doesn't. Hey, right there. I come to accept the fact you got to let Gassett be Gassett and get him the damn ball. Exactly. And that's why I didn't say stop him from dancing, because I think if you stop him from dancing, you're going to mess the game up. Like, that's just him. Like, Mr. Campbell, you are so right. Like, post game, like, folks think like that kid's just, and he's just this and that. No. Jamari Gassett just has an infectious personality. Like, he's still a kid. Like, and I'm a big kid. My wife, she got 4 kids and 3 kids in the house. That's what she says. Because my son and I, that's my little partner. My daughter, that's my baby. But he's still got that playfulness about him. And well, as much as you, as the adult, want to, hey, stop all that playing around, sit down somewhere. He's still, that's how he locks in. That's how he play. He plays the game free. He's that guy that the more he's dancing and having fun and really getting into the game, that helps him focus. For you, it's a distraction, but for him, it's a focus. He has a different learning style. He doesn't learn like you learn. He learns more by playing with it and having fun with the information. And when he's playing and dancing, he's understanding more. He's able to react or respond quicker, and he's less in his head about the game. And as Mr. Campbell says, you gotta let that kid be a kid. Like, because in post game, he's still a kid. Like, we didn't have the camera stuff rolling, and they're talking, and they're him and our quarterback Richardson. They're talking, and they're both, and Richardson's speaking a little more freely. And so somebody goes, "The mic is hot." And I said, "Mine's not." I said, "I haven't started mine." I said, "I'm gonna wait until y'all say we're ready," because as a person in the media, my responsibility is to not catch them. My responsibility is to show them. I'm not trying to expose them. I'm trying to show. And there's a difference. Exposure has that sneaky piece. Like, oh man, I'm gonna give you what you don't see. No, I'm showing you. No, you see this, but now I want to highlight it. And what you may have missed was Richardson. He code switched a little more. He was more buttoned up, more professional. He was, more suit and tie. When, hey, rolling. Isn't that what your boy say? Akeem or whatever. Rolling. Yeah. Gassett was Gassett. What you saw was what you got. And as much as you may want to, hey man, stop all that dancing, just play the game. That's just not his personality. Like, you got to let him get that out, because that's when you see the plays happen. The same way Musa was always buttoned up, Gassett is more playful. And he's just got that about his game. And it definitely, it's a big thing there. Look, portal era. This is the portal era. Coaches can't be disciplinarians. Secondary to fear, of losing them, especially for HBCUs. I don't know about that. I think the bench cures all things. Because in my bounce back with that, how many penalties do we get per game this year compared to in the previous regime? Not saying that Willie was undisciplined. Not Willie Simmons. Not Willie Taggart. Hey, I'm a Seminole fan, so that was a rough era. But you see, how many personal foul penalties do we get versus what we could have gotten? Like, there's a couple times they were supposed to have some fights on the sideline that didn't happen. Like, you had a couple little, scuffles and, whatever. But it wasn't some of the fights we saw last year, and some of that's personalities. Like, you don't have some of those personalities that just talk stuff the whole game on your roster anymore. I'm not gonna say no names. Like, you don't have that. Whereas this year, the guys you do have, though, they talk, but then once the play is over, it's over. They go back. Like, I'm gonna give you perfect examples. Jamar Gassett on the sideline doesn't catch the ball. Southern guys in great coverage, and him and the Southern guy are going back at each other. Plays over. All right, you got me. Da 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 da. Then Southern player goes back to his position. Gassett goes back, and the conversation's over. That didn't happen with some of our players last year. Some of the play was going, then all of a sudden they back meeting helmets and arguing and this, and you're like, you can get flagged. This is gonna be a fight. You don't get some of that. So again, some of that, it's a different era. Like, I definitely think we're much more disciplined there. So I cringe at his post game pressers. How's Alabama? You think you would do that? Oh, depends on the coach. Nick Saban? No. No. With the current coach? Maybe. I mean, did you see the kid crash out the other week? What was that when they lost the who they losing home to? Like, oh no, that was Georgia, where the kid was crashing out, throwing his mouthpiece and everything else. But potentially, like, yeah, I think if you're that kind of player and you're that important to a team, you're gonna let them get away with what they need to get away with. Like, you, and shout out to Peter Ward. He was a gracious person for being on the show. If Peter Ward and I were on the same football team, I don't expect to get treated like Peter Ward. Peter Ward was a generational player. If I made the roster, I made the roster. Like, I think some of that does come with the benefit of understanding in the locker room. Everybody don't get the same treatment. Like, and if AFC wins by more than 15, they would break the tie if they win. But, okay, all right. And Ms. Campbell says the crazy thing is they're talking about how Debo is running the program. Loose with guys coming late to meetings, a lot of talking compared to Nick Saban's no BS. Yeah, Alabama's different. That's why I knew that, and I appreciate you saying that, Mr. Campbell, because I was like, yeah, it's a different program at Alabama. It ain't the same thing. There isn't a guy on the team that checks that. Coaching is one thing, but players hold each other accountable, and I don't see who is that guy. It's a different team. You don't have Musa. Like, last year's team was old. Like, let's not ignore the fact the last 3 years, James' football team has been old. Like, grown men. Like, not even like, oh yeah, he's like, no. We're talking about dudes with kids. Like, how many dudes from the last 2 football teams had kids? Not even just like 21, 20, like 23, 24-year-old dudes who had kids, had to take care of their kids. This narcissist fumbled the ball. This Cowboys gonna lose. Like, it's an older, much more mature roster for those teams, where this year the team's younger. You're talking dudes that are 21, barely, maybe 22. What was you like when you was 21, 22? Like, just saying it. The team's older than you're younger now. Like, and will the SWAC ever get a playoff system? Will the SWAC go away from having divisions? Like, the argument's the argument, and you're going to constantly hear last year was the Jackson State fans, this year's the FAMU fans. You should do away with the playoffs and the not the playoffs, but having the East to West thing and just go best on best. So how long are you going to have that? Like, just saying. And Mr. Campbell's right. You have a discipline program. If you set that as your winning culture, those guys who can't handle it probably will not be successful. What players aren't here? I'll say that. How many players over the offseason left? Like, we saw a lot of players. Some were pretty decent. And Cozy was just like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing it. Like, you can do it. It was fun while it lasted. Go take your ring, but I'm not doing this. I've seen Cole. I think Cole's a little more disciplined. Like, and Hollow says, we can't worry about no team if we're not winning all our games. You got a point there. Chad, who's 89 on the OL? He came in with energy, open holes, thinking he's the kid from Washington. Hey, could be. And no, Hollow, you're right. We can't lose any more games. And yeah, Kyler, like I said, our last rosters, grown men, grown-ups. I definitely hope Pruitt will get more targets and holds on to the football with contact. I agree. Like married with kids. I can't go to the moon after the game. No, the moon, the flight, none of that. Like even post interview, they were still being kids. Like you didn't get that from Musa. Musa was like, "Hey, I'm going home. I'm gonna do whatever." You know, his girlfriend was there some of the times, hung with the family. Like the boys talk about going out after. Like, hey, all right, game's over. Cozy was like, hey, I'll message you at this time. You better be where I tell you to be. Yes, sir. I even hit Coach with the dang, they go Papa Cozy right there, huh? He got to look back and smirk. Like, they're younger. Like, FAMU fans, you've been blessed. You've had some old behind football players on this roster for 3 years. And now this new crop of kids is coming in, and they're actual college kids. They're not these 23 and 24-year-old adults that are playing college football. They're 19 and 20-year-old kids that do the same stupid stuff we did. Like, welcome back to college football. They're going to do dumb stuff. They're going to be on the sideline. They're going to cut the monkey, and they're going to be over there dancing and celebrating. Because guess what? The AKs and the Deltas are looking. And the ones that are GDIs are looking. And some of them look good. A lot of them look good. It's FAMU. Shoot. Throw a rock and hit a fine woman. Look, I'm just saying. Like, and these boys know what they look like. Like, so say what you want to, get mad about it. Look, Jared, look. After the Valley game, hey, homecoming, I ain't doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it to myself. I'll do this. I'll post game with this, but I ain't doing a flight after no homecoming. No, sir. Oh, the Cowboys actually winning. Look at God. And little baby says, I know some people complain about the team not being very disciplined, but in comparison to last year's team, this is different. We led the look. The only reason you're saying they don't look disciplined is because they're dancing. Like they over there and the song come on and get it sexy. They up there, you know, DJ Loose Kid, right hand, left hand, both hand, and the players are doing it too. And you sitting there like, get your head in the game. They're not 40. Like, sorry, Mike Gundy. They're not 40. They're not grown men. Look, Kyler, thank you. Moose about 30. Like, you had grown behind football teams. Like, Xavier Smith was, what, 23 when he was at FAMU? 22? And, like, had been through stuff. Like, worked at Amazon. Like, this is a college kid that worked a real job. Like, you had grown behind men playing college football. You can't get mad when this new group comes in and they're not mature because they ain't grown. They're kids. Mentally, they're still 21, 22. They're going to make those decisions. And thank you, Marvin. These kids are enjoying life. That's part of the college experience. It just is. I can't just go to New Orleans now. I got a wife. I got kids. You know, but hey, conclave is coming. We got to save up for that. We got to do this. Got to put up for that. Hey, got to take off for this. Hey, when are we not working? What are we doing? Like, they're in college. The repercussions are different. You late for class, they're not going to cut your pay. I mean, it might hurt your, you know, your travel money, but it's homecoming week. You at home, baby. Like, and it's like, I'm missing something. Last year we were 7-0. We barely 4-3 winning games. Some of that's roster schedule. I mean, you know, and I got time today. I got a few minutes. And I don't mean to quote Prime, but look at last year's roster. Besides having them old behind players, you know, you see, there we go. Then the discipline part is the PF, because we don't have the same margin of error that we had with our super talented team from last year. You're right. With less talent, you have to make less mistakes. That's part of that is. Excuse me. But you played Jackson State this year. That was a toss-up. You gave that away. You played South Florida. You gave that away. You played Division II, West Florida last year. You beat Alabama State in a close one. You beat Valley, and honestly, that game was closer than you wanted it to be. The Southern game was close. You beat Texas Southern. The biggest difference, part of it, is out of conference play. Like if you look at out of conference play this season, one, there's no Division II teams. So 4 and what was that, 3? So University of Miami and Troy and Jackson State versus West Florida, which was closer than it probably should have been. Lincoln, which Junior didn't look good in that game. And who else is the other non-SWAC team? USF. So you played a tougher schedule this year. So to Mr. Campbell's point, you have a less talented team, but you also have a more difficult schedule, and you have a much younger team that's much less mature. So, it's going to be what it's going to be. Like, and look, that said, that's why fans love. That's what they love, the fans and playing at home. Yeah. It figures it. What's up, cuz? And if FAMU had the following to return it, would be a repeat. Jenkins, Dunn, Hunt. Hello. Like, it would have been a lot different. It's like, hey, there we go. Cause like we played a game, cuz. And look, man, FAMU ain't losing another game. And I know going to the season that it was 3 possible losses. Yeah, I had 3. I think I had 3. I think either 2 or 3, but I definitely had 2. I don't want to say 3 to make myself seem right, but I know I had 2. We played in AI and DT last year. Also, yeah, exactly. And if we dance and celebrate in 500, you're right. Less talented team, tougher schedule, different locker room though. How many personal foul penalties you got this year though? I mean, we're gonna say if you're going to say that this team is more undisciplined, how many personal foul penalties you got? How many offsides penalties are you getting? I'm just saying, if we gonna say it, we can't just base it on the shucking and the jiving. Okay, they dance, they shimmy, they do whatever. Are we fighting? Are we jumping off sides? Are we getting a lot of holding penalties? For everything this offensive line ain't, what they is not highly penalized. Last year's team, one of the most penalized teams in the country. Like, I'm just saying. Like the 2 losses from the FBS teams because of our resources and the run defense. Is it the run defense against Jackson State, or is it also the offense couldn't break 21 points? I'm just saying. Yeah, I throw that out there. I'm not gonna completely disagree, but I'll ask the question. Like, and look, we don't got a lot. We got about 6 penalties. I'm just saying. How many Boston Richie videos in the locker room? How many Boston Richie videos? Look. How many folks with gold chains in the locker room? I'm just saying, like, the dancing is aggravating. But actuality, they just immature. They're kids. They're going to be that, man. So, but we're going to see, man. Look, Thursday, we're going to look at this homecoming game against Texas Southern, kind of see what they got. Like, Texas Southern is one of those weird teams to me. Like, they kind of up, then they're down. I really don't. Their coach is funny. Like, when I tell you Cardell Maynard is one of my favorites, Texas Southern's coach is going to replace him when they do whatever they do with Cardell Maynard because that dude's honest. Like, if they have a bad practice, he's not the sugarcoaty guy. He's not the guy to be like, how was practice? Well, it was all right. He's like, nah, how was practice? Man, it was horrible, man. We can't tackle. We can't throw. We don't look like we're going to win a game out there today. I tell you what, we're going to fix some stuff. Some scholarships going to get cut. Like, that dude is, he is fun. Like, go listen to some of his press conferences. Fun. I saw one on Dr. Cavill's show, and I was in stitches because that brother was honest. But they responded. So we're going to see. It'd be funny to see Sexy Red shoot a video in the locker room. Hey, I don't know about that now. Leave that alone. It was a run defense. We had a chance to win 3 minutes left. Okay. I think Texas Southern's down. I thought so too. But man, Marvin says in the Aaron Rodgers voice, just relax. But yeah, it's Thursday. We're gonna look at this Texas Southern game, y'all. Got some news on when the next booster meeting is. I gotta check the date though, because I think the thing said September and they meant November. But I'll double check. So we're gonna try and get that right. Supposed to have a meeting, but they canceled it all together. So yeah, we'll get it right, get y'all updated. But for everybody, HBCU Digital Network, man, look, long night, late night. But happy homecoming, Rattlers. It's officially homecoming. Live your best life. And if you see me in the streets, say what's up. And as always, it's gonna be Fangs up.
Yeah, baby, you know what time it is. Now let's get it started. Are you kidding me? Unreal!
While our HBCUs are mostly known for academic rigor, community, they also know how to turn up.
Does he have it?